Basic Math Chapter 8, Section 5, Dividing by Fractions. You can use fraction strips to divide by a fraction. So what is 1 divided by 1/3? Well, how many 1/3s are in 1? So here's one whole. We could show that as 3 groups of 1/3. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So 1 divided by 1/3 equals 3. There are 3 1/3s in 1. You can link division by a fraction to a multiplication. 1 divided by 1/3. 1 times invert 1/3, which means flip it upside down. So now it is 3 over 1. That equals 3. So that's how you can link division by a fraction to multiplication. To divide by a fraction, first you invert the second number, then you multiply. So that is the key to dividing by fractions. So what does inverting mean? It means that you are flipping a fraction over. So our example had 1/3. Flipped over, it becomes 3 over 1. And remember, it is the second number that gets inverted or flipped. Then you multiply. If you do that, then you'll do it. For example, divide 5 by 2/3. Step 1, write the whole number as a fraction. So 5 becomes 5 over 1. Change the division sign to a multiplication sign. So the original problem, 5 turned into a fraction. The multiplication sign changed from a division sign. Step 2, invert the second fraction. Don't do anything to the first fraction. So 5 over 1 stays the same. The multiplication symbol stays the same. But 2/3 gets flipped over to become 3 over 2. Now step 3 is to multiply. You can simplify the product if possible. In this case, it is 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 2 is 2. Divide 15 by 2 7 times with 1 left over out of 2. So 7.5. So the quotient, or the answer to a division problem of 5 2/3 is 7.5. Follow the same steps to divide a fraction by a fraction. So 1/2 divided by 2/3. The 1/2 stays how it is, 1/2. Division sign changed to multiplication sign. The 2/3 gets flipped into 3 over 2. Now you can multiply. So 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. The answer is 3/4. All right, let's practice A. Divide. Remember to invert the second number, then multiply. For number 1 has a whole number, so make that into a fraction by putting it with a denominator of 1. Turn the division sign into multiplication, and then 1/4 becomes 4 over 1. Then multiply, you get 12 over 1, which equals 12. Now I'll write it a little bit more carefully for number 4 where I have more space. So if I were doing this on my paper, I would write 9 over 1, change the division sign to multiplication, and then flip 1/3 into 3 over 1, and then multiply. then reduce. All right, let's try another one on the top here. Writing carefully, 9 over 1. Change the division sign to multiplication and flip the 3/5 into 5 over 3. Here I can cancel because 9 and 3 can be divided by 3. 9 becomes 3. 3 becomes 1. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 1 is 1. So reduced, the answer is 15. So that was dividing some whole numbers by fractions. Let's look at dividing fractions by fractions. Start with 12 so we have more space. So I'll write it next to it with 9 over 24. So that stays the same. The symbol of division becomes multiplication. Now 2/3 gets flipped or inverted to become 3 over 2. Can we cross cancel? Well, 9 and 2 do not have a common factor, but 24 and 3 do. 3 goes into 3 once, but 3 goes into 24 8 times. Now multiply. 9 times 1 is 9. 8 times 2 is 16. And there's our answer. All right, let's try one more. Let's try 20. 2/3 stays the same. Division symbol becomes multiplication, and the second fraction gets inverted. So the 15 goes on top, the 8 goes on bottom. Can you cross cancel? 2 and 8 are both even numbers. 3 and 15 also have a common factor of 3. So 2 and 8 divided by 2, 2 becomes 1, 8 becomes 4. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 15 divided by 3 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. Now divide 5 by 4 because the number on top goes in the shop once, and we're going to get 1 left over. So 1 whole with 1 left over goes on top of the original denominator of 4, 1 and 1/4. So if you'd like to practice some more right here while it's fresh, you could do that on your paper and pause the video. We can take a look at the problem solving with music. In music, there are whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes. These notes tell you how long you need to hold the note. How many half notes are in a whole note? Well, if you divide 1 by 1/2, we can see, and we could do it with our math as well. So 1 over 1, change the division sign and flip 1/2 into 2 over 1. So now multiply, we get 2 over 1, which equals 2. So there are 2 half notes in 1 whole note. So that's how we know that our division with flipping that second fraction over works. How many quarter notes are in a whole note? A whole note is shown as 1, or 1 over 1, because 1 divided by 1 is 1. We would be dividing by the quarter notes, and 1/4 looks like 1/4. Now we're going to rewrite it by changing the division sign to multiplication and inverting the second fraction. So the 4 goes on top and the 1 goes on bottom. 4 over 1 becomes 4. And how many quarter notes are there? 4 of them. Now you could continue and do your 3 and 4 if you'd like for some more practice, as well as in your workbook for Chapter 8, Section 5. Thank you.